Hey guys, and welcome to a new Lord of the Rings Rise to War video. In this one we're going to be going over some suggestions I'd like to submit to Discord for the devs to take a look at, ways I think they can improve the game. The first suggestion, I think something they could do very easily to give some fresh paint to the starting quarters, is to roll or integrate the mercenary units into the factions. So let's go to our keep here. This is just an alt account. We're going to go to our build, and looking at the race quarters, the Elven, Rohirrim, Númenórean, and Durin's folk. The only real difference between these from season to season is play as. You're going to have an additional slot for a tier 4. Otherwise, anybody who's played several seasons of this game, I'm sure it's to some people it's gotten very stale. So something they could do to give a fresh coat on it is roll in or integrate these mercenary units. Instead of the cataphracts for Arnor, let them just build the Bree Riders from the get-go in terms of replacing that building. Take out the Heralds for Lindon and put Keepers in. Take out the Dunedains for Gondor and put Seafarers in. There's a lot of mercenary units here that can be rolled into the quarters. Wosis Hunters for Rohan, Depth Defenders for Erebor, Mumakil for Rune, Eagles for Lothlorien. There's a lot of ways that they could integrate these units in, taking away the gold costs and just maybe making them a tier 4 or T3 unit to be able to train them. And that way people have an incentive to try factions again that historically have had low populations during each season. So I think that's a very good suggestion we could find a way to make work. A second suggestion I would like to mention to the devs is adding a mining or treasure hunting kind of mini game to each season. Very easily for the treasure hunting side, we would add like a function to the Mysterious Springs that you might get a prompt that says explore, just like we've seen on other tiles for other seasons. You could send certain commanders, and benefit would be by doing this, you would have a percentage chance to find, just like pulling from a Matham, 60% chance of finding blue gear, 30% chance of finding purple gear, 10% chance of finding gold gear. And obviously tweak those percentages to where the devs feel is responsible. Knowing them, they'll make it like 0.01. Tweak those percentages to where, you're more likely to find a blue or a purple, but you'd be incentivized to do a free mini game, as often as it would appear, whether that's once a week or twice a month or once every 3 weeks or something, but a mini game that keeps people logging in every day and also gives them something to do when PvP's over, whether they've won or whether they've really lost hard. And it's a good way to keep the population going. If you wanted to do a mining component to this same mini game, you could have, occasionally like the mountains or something sparkle, and you could send like a Dwarven commander in there or another type of commander, and you could explore it and have a chance, 60%, 30%, 10% on finding Mithril as a nice way to avoid having to pay to get it. 250 gem for the blue, 500 for purple, 1,000 for gold. It's expensive and it takes a long time to get up. I think that'd be a nice, rewarding mini game, at least in the context of, once again, keeping your player base interested in logging on, whether they've won or lost. Just keeping them motivated to log on, play the game, and reward them as well. I mean, I know that you have to make money to keep the servers and everything, and to keep the company going. But I do think there are ways that you can reward your player base, and these mini games that give us a chance to sort of, I don't want to say level the playing field, but at least reward us for continuing to invest our time and money into the game, I think is a very fair ask. I think the last thing they could do is implement a faction loyalty reward system to where if you choose to spend consecutive seasons in a faction, whether that's intentional or unintentional, you still get rewarded for that. If your season 1 is in Arnor, you get Faramir. If you stick second season in Arnor, you get Aragorn T2. You spend a third season in Arnor, maybe you get, just because of the lore of Elrohir Eladin helping him, you get one of those guys. You spend a 4th season in Arnor, maybe you get Isildur. Maybe you get Aragorn, King of Men. Even for Rohan, season 1 is Eowyn, season 2 is Aemir, season 3 is Theoden, and so forth. Find a way to reward your player base, especially for the evil guys who, at least in RP, I almost always see the good factions filled way before the evil ones. Find a way to reward your player base and to keep them invested in playing your game. And I think by allowing you to, or receiving commanders for continued play time is pretty big, and it's very easy to do. You know, there are a lot of people who will never be able to explore commanders because they just can't afford to open up the Matham packs like the Dolphins and Whales can. But I think this is a way to keep them invested in the game. Even if they're only spending 5 or 10 or 15, 20 bucks a season, this is a way to keep them, you know, an extra 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons because they want to get access to these commanders, and they know if they put in the time, you know, their patience will be rewarded. So I think those are 3 ways that you can reward the player base, improve the game, and also just keep it entertaining, you know, after 7, 8 seasons, you know, going on over a year now. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.